There have been a series of attacks in Chicago by roving gangs of teenagers, and we've got a local news report on one of the latest attacks. A woman was beaten by a group of teens, mostly boys it would seem, and she's in critical condition now. She's got a fractured skull, lacerations, lots of damage. Here's the report on that.
A rideshare driver gave us this video. Look closely at the intersection as the driver pulls up to the red light here at Jackson and State around 11:30 Saturday night. You can see the woman is being dragged. You can also hear her screaming. A man in a white shirt tries to help her. He starts to fight with the teens that are attacking her. As the woman gets up and starts to walk away, watch as one of the teens grabs what appears to be a bag that was left on the street. He calmly walks away with it. The woman gets up and tries to walk. She stumbles, then collapses to the ground. The man in the white shirt again comes to help her as some of the teens ride away on divvy bikes. As the rideshare driver goes through the intersection, look to your right. Some of the teens with bikes are making their way down the stairs to a CTA platform. This incident is one of 5 attacks on people in the Loop between Saturday and Monday. Police say in each case, groups of 3 to 12 teens go up to victims and demand to have their belongings. The victims are then surrounded and beaten by the teens, using their hands and feet until the victim gives up their property.
Nothing new there in Chicago. Eventually, maybe we all see these stories all the time in places like Chicago and Baltimore and every other major city in the country. This kind of violence that, ostensibly they're doing it to rob the woman, which is bad enough on its own. But it's pretty clear that it's not really even about taking her belongings. I mean, that would be horrible. That would be better than what is the reality. And the reality is that they're just doing it for fun. And the taking the purse is sort of a prize at the end of it. Icing on the cake for them, really. Really, it's simply the thrill of victimizing an innocent person and beating them for the sake of it. Eventually, maybe we'll get around to asking the question of how are we raising kids? What's going on in a child's life? And these are not children. These are, I would call them young adults. But what's going on in a child's life that they would turn into that? I mean, when you look at cities across the country and you see these violent thugs with just no conscience at all, committing these acts of brutality and barbarism for the fun of it. How does that happen? How do you end up with that? But these are the conversations we can't have. So usually we're gonna talk about if there was a gun involved. There's a reason we're not hearing about this at all in the mainstream media. I mean, the local media is talking about it. Mainstream media, national media is not talking about it because there's no gun involved here. They just use their fists and whatever other blunt instruments they have around to beat unsuspecting women with. And if there's a gun, then they'll talk about the gun and how did it end up that these kids got their hands on a gun. But even then, we're not going to talk about, well, it's okay, they got their hands on a gun. What prompted them to use it in that way? You had a case last week, I don't remember what city it was in, I want to say it was maybe New York. And this was caught on camera. There was a fight outside of a shoe store about shoes. And one of the employees from the shoe store came out to try to disperse things, courageously, really, and he was shot and killed. You did hear a little bit about that because of the gun. And so we're told, well, he had a gun. How did this young man get this gun? Gun violence is a big problem. That's not really my question. My question is, okay, he had the gun. Why would he want to use it like that? What's going on in his mind that would make him want to kill another person over a fight over shoes? That's the real question. That's the discussion we simply can't have, apparently. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.